Hey guys, MultiLockOn here, and I'm gonna be talking about my new map, Oblivion. If you haven't seen the trailer, I uploaded a week or two ago. Go check it out; it's pretty cool. Otherwise, Oblivion's a 2v2 map, Doom-inspired. I started it early March during the Doom Alpha. I didn't even have the Doom Alpha. I was just watching people play, and I thought it looked really cool. It had two maps. One was like a human industrial area, and the other one was like this kind of like naturally carved out of rock, demonic looking thing. It was really cool looking, and it inspired me to start this. So it's definitely the longest I've ever spent on a forge project. I mean, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, piss, shit, vomit have gone into to finishing this up. So it's really cool to see it out there and like have everyone play it and get their reactions, whatever they may be. In terms of how the map plays, like everything I make, I have a lot of gameplay goals in mind, like prior to making it. And it just at the time of kind of thinking about Oblivion, I was watching a lot of Quake duels, and I thought it was really, really cool how they had just like unceasing pressure. Like these two guys would just circle the map around and around and around. And even when they don't see each other, like they know, where the other guy is. And it's just like these constant, like pre-firing through doorways and this and like whittling them down. It's almost like a dance, until one guy gives in, dies, and like the whole dance starts over. It's really, really neat. And I thought that'd be really cool to bring that kind of like unceasing pressure to a Halo map, if possible. I mean, it's really hard given, all the movement mechanics in Halo 5 makes it really easy to get away, on top of, recharging health and a utility weapon that's not very good at all. So for me, I wanted to have this idea that basically no matter where someone was, if you put a shot on them and they ran away, you should be able to cut them off before their shields recharge, like no matter what. And so looking at the overhead floor space of the map, that was obviously like a priority going in, to have it, concise enough and, small enough to where someone could, corner to corner. But a big part of that's the two teleporters. There's two pairs of senders and receivers on the map that kind of flow in a counterclockwise fashion. So that's definitely playing a big role in that. But yeah, conceptually, anywhere you are in Oblivion and anywhere someone else is, it shouldn't matter. If you put a shot on them and they run away, you should be able to get to them before their shields recharge, like within that span of time, if you're using like the correct, pathing in your line of sights, whatever. So that was a really big thing for me, because I like, applying pressure. And even if you weren't going to physically move after them or chase them or pursue that, I've given more time to fine-tuning line of sights and all these little angles and things you can shoot through than I have any other map I've ever made. So I mean, this is one of those maps you're going to be finding new line of sights, 10, 15, 20 games in. Like I did, and there were times that I was like in a gunfight. I'm like, did I make that line of sight on purpose? That's like really cool. And I don't even remember, because there's a lot of really just interesting angles from different spots that you can see things. Which is really important to, applying pressure if you're not going to physically pursue someone. And I've taken a lot of care to make sure that any given part of the map can be covered from two different people's line of sight, and no more. You don't need any more than that. It's pretty concise pathing. The actual design of the map and the way that the movement goes. So Halo 5 has this big issue. I'm sure you've all played it enough to realize this, where it's really easy, just to get away. I mean, it's very hard to punish people when you have a pistol that takes 5 shots to kill and has probably the shortest range. It does have the shortest range of any rifle in the game. Even the AR can contest the pistol from a pretty good distance. So it was important to me to have a layout where I could apply pressure from an absurd amount of angles and spots, and have a design that still constricted the movement to where it doesn't become unpredictable and untrappable. And so I think what that ended up leading to was a design where your movement is very controlled, but you have the freedom to actually shoot anywhere. So you have pretty controlled pathing, but extremely flexible and open line of sights. Not to say they aren't fine-tuned, but there are quite a few line of sights that you can really take advantage of, just from different spots if you're in the right position. And if not for combat purpose, then just to catch a glimpse of someone, through a crack or something, just to find where they're going. And so that was pretty pivotal. And you'll see that playing the map. Like, you're not going to have all the freedom to, jump, clamber, thrust, slide, shoot up your asshole, whatever. Like, go all these different directions that you might in like a Halo 5 dev map, where you can kind of just like do whatever you want at any spot, but you do have the freedom to apply pressure in a lot of places, which I really like. So it's much more controlling, and it's much easier to punish players if you're skilled enough to do so, and if you're aggressive enough to do so. And I like rewarding aggressive play. I'd never make a small map for the sake of just playing fast, because then you're just making something small for the sake of making it small. I want to give players the choice to be aggressive and be rewarded for that, outside of just a map that's just like, oh shit, like I'm here. Like if you ever played Shurima in matchmaking, the Arabian Nights kind of theme, white and gold map, it was in doubles for a little bit. You don't really have a choice to play anything but fast on that map, because it's literally like the floor space. I mean, it's basically an octagon, with some cover thrown around. Like that's the way I look at it. And that's not really like my style of forging. So I try to stay away from that. If you do play aggressive on this map, you're going to be nothing but rewarded. It's very, very possible to trap people and flush them out of different corners, just the way the pathing moves and the verticality and the way different aspects of the map look over other aspects of the map. So gameplay wise, that was definitely a big thing for me. And the final aspect is that the map is kind of divided into like these two areas. There's like the outside like natural rock atrium area where I took a lot of time like fine-tuning line of sights and stuff, like I mentioned. And then there's an interior like chapel, like a demon throne room or crypt. You'll know it when you see it. And these two different parts of the map play so like fundamentally different. And in any other context, I'd probably look at what I built in the chapel and I'd be like, that's so like uninteresting. Like I would never make something this flat and this standard in a map. But there's something to that type of gameplay that appeals to so many players, even myself. Like I can load up an octagon in like Halo 1, 2, or 3, whatever, and just have fun with that. Like I think that's really cool. And there's a lot of people who thrive under those kind of gameplay, like that kind of map, And so I wanted to make the map appeal to like these different people. So the outside area where the rocks where all the like the crazy like cross mapping and all these things are, that's really cool if you're gonna be structured with like your gameplay and you have like the cohesion with your teammate to really take advantage of that. Whereas the chapel is just a great mediator in the sense that if you and your teammate aren't really clicking and you guys don't have that cohesion to push and trap and really garner the line of sights that it takes to corner a team in this map, the chapel is super efficient at kind of flipping that balance. Whereas like I've seen a lot of teams that struggle in the exterior atrium and taking advantage of the line of sights because they're not on the same page for whatever reason. I've seen them bring the fight into the chapel and the game totally gets flipped on its head, because like that delicate like balance or ratio of kind of like team shottiness to like your local skill and your individual skill and your command of Halo 5's like mechanics, it totally gets flipped. Because the chapel is like almost that pseudo octagon environment, which is like really fun to fight in if you're into that and you're confident in your strafe and your pistol and all those things. Like you're gonna thrive in there. And I've seen that happen with a lot of teams that maybe weren't doing that great elsewhere on the map, and it's really cool in that sense. You also have the luxury in there of a lot of dance floor to move around in. You have a lot of floor space, so grenades aren't that efficient at flushing you out. Like someone really has to commit to pulling into the chapel to really flush you out, as opposed to the rest of the map, which has, like I mentioned earlier, like really constricted pathing. I've seen games like the post-game Carnage report for people where their tool of destruction in Oblivion was grenades, just because it's so efficient on these maps for flushing people out of corners, and pushing people back, whatever it is. I really like that. You might not. A lot of people don't like dying to grenades all that often. They think it's kind of annoying. For me, it's a lot like CE, Halo CE, where you can pick your spots and what results you're getting, because they're efficient enough, and it can be very similar on this map. So as far as the general gameplay tendencies and principles I want to capture, that's about it. Quick notes, there are lightning strikes that go off in the map with the lightning effects. If you see where a lightning strikes, that means a power weapon comes up at that time where it struck. So there's 3 power weapons, which means there's 3 different lightning strikes. And so yeah, when you hear it or you see it, a weapon's up. It's like having a weapon pad basically, so everyone knows. But I just don't like how on weapon pads like the icon will disappear and you'll know where someone is, even if you don't deserve that information. So it's pretty cool. It's like a static timer in that sense. It will kill you if you're too close. And if the lightning strikes and the weapon doesn't respawn where it struck, it's because someone is still holding it. So there's only one in play at any given time. I think that's kind of cool. Martian Mallcop did the scripting for the map, and he helped me out with that, and we established that, so that was pretty neat to establish. There's these 2 wells on the map that you can like fall into, and those are teleporters. So everyone thinks those are death pits. I don't really have a good way of portraying like, hey, this is a teleporter that you have to like fall into like a pretty good distance. But they're pretty cool. You'll see them in the gameplay in the background. You can like ground pound into them, like whatever, kill the enemy, kill your teammate. Whatever ends up happening, but that's that. I wanted to make it feel like you were being like sucked down. I don't know if that really got pulled off, but I think the teleporters are pretty fun to use. But that's it in terms of like the little gimmicky weird stuff on the map. As far as the aesthetics, there's a lot of repetition. I'm sure you'll see all the chiseled out doors and the rock are all following a pretty similar shape and pattern. As the doors go higher in elevation on the map, they kind of change shape, and you'll notice that. But yeah, a lot of repetition on the aesthetics there. Some cool skybox stuff I did if you want to check that out. As for the lighting, which I think might be the most impressive part of the map. So I like the lighting for 2 reasons. 1, the way the lighting actually reacts on this canvas to the objects, and 2, the way I actually did the lighting with the raw lighting, like the invisible lights everywhere. So there was a point in this map's lifespan from March until now where like half the objects on the map were turning puke green, and not even like a consistent half, like random objects. Like my map looked fucking ridiculous. I don't know what to do about it. I turned light bag off on everything. It was still like that. It was super weird. I didn't know how to fix it. Three-legged goat came in and put a big old chroma box thing trick around the map. Basically, I don't know, something to do with the cube map. Is inside the map, like it's like in the dead center of the parallax canvas. I don't know why they put it there, but it is, and it gets affected by the objects near it. So it was really messing with the lighting, and for a while I thought the map was done for. I was just gonna get ready to delete it. I was over it, but Goat came in and saved it with some fancy lighting tricks. I think Wyvern Zoo is actually the first person who did that whole chroma box trick around the map. They cast really cool shadows on the map, so that's really nice, and it allowed me to get the map like really, really dark how I liked it and do my own lighting. So thank you, Three-Legged Goat. If you guys don't know who he is, he made Spellbound. Super, super cool, like natural fantasy themed 2v2 map. I'll leave it as like a link in the description. It's really cool. As for the lighting that I did, I actually went out and rented a book from my school's library on light sources and how they bounce and refract and reflect and change colors and dissolve and whatever. It's like a resource for photography or game engines or something, but it helped me out a lot when doing the lighting for this map. And if you ever look at it in Forge, like the invisible lights everywhere are placed super, super weird. Like, I don't know, lots of tiny little point lights along different areas and changing colors and fall off ratios and all that stuff. But the end result came out really good. If you stand in the chapel and look at some of the lighting there, I think it's pretty impressive and as photorealistic as it's going to get in this game. Really, really, really happy how the lighting came out on this map. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, there's that. I'm sure you guys can see in the background of this map, the centerpiece of like the whole rock atrium, instead of like the giant 3 rock column doom rock looking thing, there's like a new structural centerpiece made out of like the stone texture and like some other shapes and stuff. Huge shout out, special thanks to xXandrith. If you guys don't know who he is, he's also a really good forger. He convinced me to do a structural centerpiece, which not only plays a lot better with a line of sights, but it looks a lot better, and it's way easier to understand like where you are in terms of initial readability and things like that. And Three-Legged Goat, the guy I already mentioned, he did a lot of the forging on that, or almost all the forging on that. So huge shout out to xXandrith, Three-Legged Goat. Given a fly, a lot of cool testing stuff and advice there, sticking through with it. Salty Koala, Fantastic Bear, Chrismic, all really cool guys. Helped me out a lot with this map throughout the months and months of really slow progress and just stupid lighting issues. So yeah, shout out to those guys. I'm gonna let the gameplay roll for a little bit, and then you guys can see some cool stuff there. I don't have like a full uncut 5-minute gameplay just because the Xbox DVR is hot piece of trash on this console and I can't get it to work. But that's Xbox One for you. So anyways, yeah, this is Oblivion. I might upload a just a raw gameplay, no commentary soon, like uncut, if that's something people are interested in. The maps on the file browser, if you just filter by most liked in maps, you can find it on page 2 or 3, whatever the day is. It's trending downwards. So anyways, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed the map. I'm glad it's out there. I hope you enjoyed the trailer. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. How to design a Halo map episode 4 coming eventually? We'll see. Later, guys.